Have you ever wondered how people get those super smooth sliding panning shots? Well, here we have it, the Neewer Motorized Camera Slider. Hello and welcome to the value space. In this video, I'll be unboxing, setting up and giving you my first impressions of the Neewer Motorized Camera Slider. Buckle up and let's go for the ride. Cutting the box open, it comes in a black nylon bag made from a thermoplastic silky polymer. Taking it through the eyeball test, the build quality looks good and the stitching is pretty decent. With the constant picking, carrying and placing, maintaining its build quality remains to be a question of time. Speaking of which, let me know in the comment section if you'd like me to do a follow-up review. Opening up, a 31.5-inch carbon fiber slider, motor, hex screws, 2 hex keys, 1 belt, controller and a manual all cushioned in foam padding. Putting them aside and diving into this chassis, starting from the bottom moving up. Taking a closer look, it comes with adjustable legs with spring-loaded screws. The fit being adjustable comes in handy when working on uneven surfaces. I like the rounded fit as this provides proper anchorage and creates visual interest through the element of shape. Moving up, the dolly majestically sits on these carbon fiber rails. Narrowing in on the dolly, it comes in a large size and has a 3/8 inch screw. Moving to the side, there's a lock for the main dolly so that it stays in place when moving it around, and when loosened, it enables this cool feature that allows the slider to pan and rotate the camera along the track. Something to note though, in order to enable that feature, you have to adjust the angle of the center bar, which then allows center tracking and panoramic shot. As interesting as it sounds, I know you guys are most excited about how it works, so I'll quickly assemble it and then put it to the test. Over here, you'll get the parts laid on the desk and roll out the assembly guide. Just kidding, I take that back. Spoiler alert, we have our first drawback. The included instructions don't tell you how to mount the motor and the belt. Going through the instructions, I couldn't help but notice how vague they were, and I'm guessing you left it for thought for us to figure out. Nonetheless, let's dig into it. Using the 2 large screws, mount the motor to the side of the dolly with the provided Allen key. Something to note though, with the screws facing down, there's a lot of clearance, therefore it makes it a lot easier. The motor isn't in the way, so it's easy to get full rotations with the wrench. Flipping the camera slider upside down, the belt goes underneath the slider on the side with the motor on it, after which you'll set the metal plate on the end of the slider and the first screw will go on the hole closest to the inside. From there, the next screw goes in the middle opening, and just like the first screw, this screw should be well fastened. Next up, place the pleated plate on top of the slimmer plate with the pleated side facing down, then surface mount the first and second screw to give allowance for the belt. Moving on, slide the belt in between the 2 plates with the teeth facing up, then fasten the screws. After all the pieces are in, the belt needs to be threaded through the gear on the motor. With the teeth facing up, wrap the teeth around the main gear and loop in the middle around the 2 smaller pulleys, then gently pull the belt towards the other side of the slider and fasten the thicker plate to hold the belt in place. It's a lot easier on this side since the belt is already fastened on the plate. I'm guessing most of you are wondering the purpose of the red dial. Well, say no more. You can use it to reduce or increase tension on the belt. Once the belt is installed, all that is left is mounting the battery. After everything is installed, you'll have to set the A and B points. Something to note though, the controller doesn't come with batteries, so you'll have to purchase them separately. And here's a closer look at how the belt whips through the motor. This brings us to the next part that I know you've been waiting for, the test run. With the slider ready to go, I wanted to try some shots. You can either use a Z-Flex steel head mount or a ball head mount. In my case, I got the ball head mount from Neewer. And from the get-go, I'm already impressed. When the motor starts, it has a nice ramp up because of its set speed, so there's no jolting at the beginning and end. Another thing that impressed me was how smooth the motor was on the carbon fiber rails, and if you want to engage the rotating camera base, you'll have to adjust the bar in the center of the rail. With the camera on the center bar, you can slowly see it rotating as it moves along the rail since it's on center tracking. Here are some sample shots I took around the house with the slider and the handheld gimbal. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Pinning my ears closer to the slider, I immediately notice how quiet the motor is, and at speeds below 90% it's barely noticeable. Something to note though, camera slider movements are meant to be slow, and to put that into perspective, at 100% speed a full length shot on an 80cm slider takes about 20 seconds. At 50% speed, one full length shot on the same slider takes about 15 minutes. This makes the slider best suited for time-lapse, parallax and sliding shots. Moving on, the camera slider comes with a remote control which helps you choose different modes and controls. Since it would take an eternity going through all the modes, I'll touch on a few. Starting with the live motion mode, which allows you to set the speed as well as the lock-in points A and B. In the time-lapse mode, you can choose at which intervals photos should be taken, how long the release time should be, and how many photos you want to take. The remote control also calculates the total time for the time-lapse recording. As we've come to know, everything has its good and bad sides. With the Neewer Motorized Camera Slider, the one that screams out the most for me, it's the durability of the belt, which tends to wear out with time. But on the flip side, they're easily available and you can always pick one up from Amazon. Plus, they're quite cheap. Next up, you can actually fit the slider in its carrying bag with the motor on it. You'll have to disassemble it, which chews up considerable amount of time, especially when you're in a hurry. Other than that, it's a really good camera slider with quality construction, and at its price point, you're definitely getting the bang for your bucks. People of the internet, I'm signing out. See you on the next one.